What's going on, y'all? Psych Perspectives, GeoFux here, and we are looking at part 3, discussing the preferences within the black, queer, cis, gay, queer community. But I'm also talking about people that are not black, cis men in the gay, queer community as well, okay? So, again, people go to who celebrates them, who respects them, who wants them. And again, if you have a portion of black cis men in the gay queer community who are constantly saying that they don't date feminine men, or they don't date fats or femmes, then why would the fat and femme black cis men continue to approach the portion of black cis gay queer men that talk shit about them, clearly don't want to be with them, don't find them attractive? Why should they waste their time dealing with you? This is what gets on my nerves about the whole preference conversation is some people feel that because you are not their preference, you don't deserve to have love, relationships, romance, sex, happiness, joy, peace. They think because you're not their preference that you should be treated like shit and should suffer for the rest of your life. Because literally you will see people make these dumb comments on social media. For example, a lot of people like to make fun of the people that are on 600-pound life. And you will literally see people make comments like they'll have a picture of the person and basically to paraphrase, they'll have a picture of the person and then be like, how is it that they're married or they have a husband or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a wife or a significant partner and I'm still single? And it's like you're basically trying to say that because somebody is obese or morbidly obese or fat or 600 pounds that they don't deserve to have love, that nobody should ever find them attractive or want to be with them. Meanwhile, you are the one that's quote unquote conventionally attractive and single. Ain't that some shit? Go figure. Maybe you're the problem. Has it ever occurred to you that maybe your personality is trash and that's why people pay you dust? Okay. I also want to bring this up because, again, the same issues that cis gay men and the gay or cis black gay men in the gay queer community complain about is the same thing that cisgendered heterosexual black women complain about. And again, a lot of this is going to ultimately be rooted in bigotry, closed-mindedness, and you have every right to your preference. But I'm going to keep saying this. Y'all be all for preferences until you are not somebody else's preference. Because I'm going to say this. I hear so many cisgendered women, black cisgendered women, cisgendered heterosexual women, complain that there's no good men. I hear so many black cis gay men, black cis queer men complain that there's no good men. But in the same breath, your preferences is probably why you haven't met any of these good men. Maybe you should rephrase it and start saying, you're not really looking for good men. You're looking for your preference. And a lot of times your preference are not good men. That's just it. Y'all don't want to, for example, for the cishet black women, you don't want to date bi men. And you say that that's your preference, and you have every right to your preference. You don't have to date anybody that you don't want to date. And at the same time, you've probably already dated a bisexual man. He just never told you that he was bisexual. Just like you probably already have been attracted to a trans person. You just didn't know that they were trans. Hate to break it to you, but people exist regardless of you having a preference or not. And people's lives don't revolve around your preference. I'm just keeping it real. Y'all be so, oh my God. And like I said, half of the women complaining about there not being good men, if you got with a bisexual guy, you probably would actually get the orgasm that you want. You probably would actually get the dates that you want to go on. Don't want to date the trans dude, yet the trans dude is the one that's more likely in touch with his emotional intelligence than the cis dude, but whatever. Again, pay us dust. And that is completely fine because, again, I don't want anybody that doesn't want me back, right? Like, I'm a firm believer in go to who celebrates you, not who tolerates you and makes your life a living hell. Okay? Also, to me, there's a hint of arrogant and just very, like, self-centeredness with it a lot because you have a lot of masculine cis gay men in the gay queer community who think that they are the showboats. Like, everybody wants me. Everybody wants a masculine man. And that is not the case. But again, in your world, you've put yourself in the center of it because a lot of y'all are very self-centered, very arrogant. It's past having confidence. Because again, y'all spend y'all entire time degrading and bashing feminine men. Yet, these are the same quote-unquote masculine men that are in these feminine men's inboxes trying to get some of the booty. But I thought you said you don't like feminine, which is bringing me to the next. These are the same cis, gay, black, and queer men who claim that they don't mess with trans people and disrespect trans men left and right. But yet, who's in our inbox? Who's in our DMs? Again, if you don't like us and we're not your preference, stand 10 toes down on that. Okay? Stay out of our inboxes. Stop trying to flirt with us. Stop trying to use us as sneaky links and all this other shit. Stand 10 toes down. If you don't like femmes, then leave them alone. But that's just it. Okay, and if you are a masculine man that wants another masculine man, then go get with the masculine man instead of sitting up here complaining that everybody's feminine. Who cares about the feminine guys? You're the one that said that those weren't your type, so why is that even what you're talking about? Like, it doesn't even make sense after a while, right? Same thing with the I don't date fat guys. Like, you literally have people who won't date people that are considered fat. Now, keep in mind, another thing that I've noticed in the gay community, being fat in the gay community versus being fat in the heterosexual community is totally different. Because being fat in the gay community could literally just mean that you don't have a six-pack. Meanwhile, you could be very fit, could be very in shape, could be very physically healthy. But because you have a pudge or you're not like sculpted out, like you're not ripped, you're considered fat. Which is another reason why a lot of gay men have eating disorders and body dysmorphia. Let's just keep it real, okay? Which is another reason why a lot of women have eating disorders and body dysmorphia. Because we're constantly putting people down for how their bodies look, for how their composition, you know, with their fat, their muscle, vice versa. And then it doesn't make sense because you're literally sitting up here expecting men who are over 6 feet to be under 200 pounds. They're literally looking malnourished just so they can not be seen as fat. It's crazy out here, okay? Then on top of that, in both situations, it's like people want to act like human beings are the Sims. Have you ever played the Sims game? I used to love playing the Sims game, like on PlayStation 1, PS2, and the computer. And I played it on the PlayStation 3, the PS4, Xbox 360. I used to play the Sims a lot, especially Sims 2. Like, I literally had every expansion pack for Sims 2 for the PC. And I'm bringing this up because the way y'all have y'all preferences, y'all literally act like this is Sims. Like you're going to build the perfect person. And there's no such thing as the perfect person. Nobody is going to check every single box. Because everybody has flaws. Everybody has shortcomings. Nobody's perfect. And that's okay. And also what cracks me up is a lot of you who have these very like narrow, closed-minded viewpoints on relationships and attraction, y'all are also the same ones that are typically single all the time or alone. Yet, I thought you said that you being the masculine macho man, everybody wants you. Then how come you're not with anybody? Okay, then. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that being in a relationship is the end-all be-all, because it's not. A lot of people are literally settling just to say they have somebody and are literally going through absolute hell. And I don't recommend that. And at the same time, people are complaining about being single and not having love and not going on dates and not having relationships. But then when you look at their standards, which half of y'all don't even meet your own standards, make that make sense. Like, you don't, so many times I have seen people list out what they expect somebody to bring to the table. Meanwhile, they don't bring any of what they're asking. I'm just keeping it real. Y'all be having some, listen. Okay. And again, what gets me about the masculine men, y'all claim to be masculine, but then y'all don't want to do masculine things. Again, you're the masculine top that doesn't want to initiate the date, doesn't want to pay for the date, but then you want to talk about being masculine. Then be masculine. Again, y'all want to pick and choose when it's convenient for y'all to lean into these social constructed identities. I'm just going to be completely real. It just gets old, and I can't really blame people who end up dating outside of their race when the people in their race don't want them, don't find them attractive. And also, love doesn't have a color. Love doesn't have a gender. Love doesn't have a sexuality. People go to who treat them right regardless of that. And I mean, again, black people are not obligated to only date black people. People can date outside of their race. You don't get to tell other people what they can and cannot do with their own bodies and who they can and cannot date. It is really ridiculous to me how, again, you don't like them, but then you're mad at them for going elsewhere. Are they supposed to stick around and just put up with you not liking them and being lonely or being single forever just because you don't want them? That's not how things work. People be pissed off that trans people end up in relationships, end up with loving partners, as if we're not supposed to be loved and supported. As if we're not lovable. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of trans people who have amazing partners who are also trans, who are also cisgendered, who are also non-binary, intersex, etc. And they're happy. And I'm going to leave off on part 3 with saying, fuck what everybody else has to say about you. As long as you're happy with your partner or the people you're talking to or in a relationship with, that's really all that matters. As long as you're happy with who you are as an individual, that's really all that matters. We're not really here to appease everybody. For one, it's not realistic. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't find you attractive, that doesn't like you. And guess what? There's also going to be people that find you attractive, gorgeous, and the best thing since sliced bread. Now, me personally, I do have an attraction to cis men, cis males, trans men, trans males, black men, but I'm not going to personally pigeonhole myself into thinking that I can only be with a cis black man or only be with a trans black man, etc. I'm just not going to do that. If I happen to be with one, great. If I happen to not be with one, great. I'm not going to live my life based off of your preferences. And the thing is, we all have preferences. Like, I would prefer someone to have emotional intelligence, you know what I'm saying, over somebody that acts like feelings are weak, which is what a lot of you stereotypical masculine cis men do. Which is why y'all are the ones that end up killing your partners because you don't know how to communicate and you don't know how to deal with rejection. Toxic masculinity. Anyways, that's part 3. Let me know what you think in the comment box below. There may be a part 4. Stay tuned. I'm out.